special in store for you. The grandest spectacle, the greatest show of all, Johnny Bang Bang Show. Here's your host, Robert Gifford.
It's me. I am the one and only. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Bang Bang is the game. Robert Gifford is my name. As always, Grant the Mark Clark sitting right next to me on the right-hand side. And today, you just can't see her, but little Lulu Love under the table. That's my dog. She's 11 months just as of Friday. So, yeah, I think she's only a puppy for another, month? And then you're...
No, they're always puppies.
They're always puppies.
Down, no
okay.
matter what.
I got to get my nipple out of the shot here. My nipple was in that shower.
I was going to say, I was about to throw my toothpick like Razor did. And I'm like, I don't want to throw it on the ground or eat it.
We have, dude, a lot to talk about in wrestling. Happy Father's Day to you.
Well, happy Father's Day to you, too. You got a dog.
I have a dog.
That still counts.
I think so. I hope so. I treat her like she's my kid. I think that annoys some people that actually have kids, but yeah.
Hey, no, I love it.
But, ladies and gentlemen, this might have been the most full week of wrestling that didn't have any pay-per-views in it.
Yeah.
We had Monday Night Raw on Monday. You had NXT on Tuesday. You had Dynamite on Wednesday. Thursday, still nothing, right?
Thursday, still nothing.
I mean, if you want to, there's is Impact a Thursday night or is it a Friday night?
I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
I never know.
Let's just say Thursday, nothing.
Who watches Impact?
Well, sometimes there's good things there. Friday night, you have SmackDown, you have Rampage, and then we have this new debut of AEW Collision, man. That was on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wrestling to keep up with. That's all I can say.
That is a lot. And, I mean, if you're diehard, you got Dark Elevation, everything.
You got WWE house shows you got to pay attention to. You got
MLW, PWG, whatever. New Japan, especially, you got to kind of pay attention to New Japan right now.
Evolve still around?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Remember Evolve?
Because
isn't that
it was like WWE's like
it was like their underground
single A.
Yeah, dude, that's a great way of looking at that. It was.
Where Austin Theory made his name. Now look at him.
Good call, dude. He's on top of the world right now.
Yeah,
lots and lots to cover. So I'm just gonna do it this way. We're gonna call it the Cody Rhodes Hour. Usually we have this big rundown of all these things that we want to talk about in the order we want to talk about to kind of keep things organized. I'm gonna throw it up to you like this. I'm going to call it the Cody Rhodes Hour because I'm going to start off with the worst, in my opinion, the absolute most annoying, worst catchphrase in all of wrestling. So, what do you want to talk about? It is awful. Yeah, can we just talk about how bad it is?
It's awful, but it like pops the crowd.
No, it doesn't really,
yeah.
Dude. It is so, he comes out and it'll be a heated introduction before he gets there. Somebody's on the mic, they're fired up, and then he comes out and he's like, so what do you want to talk about? I just hate it so much. He needs to find something else. Anyways, so what do you want to talk about? Should we start with the man, the myth, the legend, the gift that keeps on giving, CM Punk? Or do you want to go with the bloodline? I think we should start with CM Punk because he's always the firecracker.
I'm down to talk about CM Punk always.
Let's start CM Punk, and then we got to get in that bloodline today.
I mean, we pulled up to the studio and I was playing Hulk's personality, so it's on everybody's mind. Yeah.
All right. Before we get into what happened on Saturday at Collision, I want to know where you stand today in 2023 as a fan of CM Punk. Are you? Aren't you? Are you in the middle? Where do you fall in the CM Punk, sweepstakes? Are you a buyer of a stock of his, or are you not?
I am a big buyer of chick magnet Phil Brooks. No, it's CM Punk. He's a legend. Let's be honest. And yesterday, I was actually talking to my wife, and I was like, I was talking about how when Punk came the first time to Rampage, I was like, man, I teared up I teared up watching it, and I was sitting there talking. I'm like, I don't think that will happen, but I'm like, normally it would have been something, Collision's the first show, so yeah, I was going to tune in and watch it, but normally it'd be something to record it, watch it. But the fact that CM Punk returning,
it's a live watch.
I made sure I turned on TNT 30 minutes before, so I didn't miss it. I had to watch the end of Age of Ultron, which that's awesome. But I was like, I have to watch this just to see CM Punk come back. And it didn't disappoint. We got CM Punk at CM Punk's fullest.
Yeah, at his fullest. We got shaved head Punk.
Yeah.
Which is a thing.
We got CM Punk carrying around a bag that presumably has a championship.
Yeah, I love how
the belt in it, but
all right, trivia, or not trivia, just question. Do you really think there was a belt in there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think it was.
Was it Del Belt?
No, it was probably just like some probably the next person's TNT title belt just there.
To me, it's probably an old school WWE, the 462 days belt that he had.
So the one he bought from the store.
So you're a buyer of it. Now, I know you're a big fan of the Elite.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan of the Bucks?
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Okay, so you're a big fan of them. Like, do you have one over the other? Because I'm always gonna lean Phil.
Yeah.
Because there's just a bias that goes against AEW and Young Bucks because I'm just not a big fan of the Young Bucks. I like them as a tag team.
Yeah.
But like, I think in my opinion, I've always kind of felt like they think they're underrated in the world.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of perfectly rated, or to a notch overrated. Mm-hmm. But I get it. I get they're a true tag team in the 2023 when there's not a lot. Yes. So like, I get the infatuation with them. But do you have stock one over the other?
It's hard for me to say because, I mean, when I was like a lot of the heyday of me watching wrestling was CM Punk in it, especially, like when they did the rebooted ECW, him and Morrison were back and forth for the title. I remember watching that all the time. But I mean, Kenny Omega right now is probably my favorite wrestler. So,
and that's interesting. Yeah.
So I'd probably it'd be like Kenny, Punk, the Bucks.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
And Hangman.
And then Hangman. Man. Yeah, so this is hitting you right in all the sweet spots.
These are all like best wrestlers in my opinion. But the thing is, like, they said that it's not supposed to be in a storyline, and then we have Punk come out and pretty much just.
But that's so typical him trying to control the narrative, right?
And like, when are we going to? Because I feel like we're not going to have. Collision was pretty much made to be Punk's show from what everything says, and the leader is supposed to be on Wednesday. When are we going to have the crossover? When are we going to? Because I think that's what we're all waiting for.
So, all right, first things first, let me kind of give you my thoughts on the stock of Punk for me. I was a diehard Straight Edge Society fan, okay? Loved Festus, right? Being with them. I think that's probably the only time I've ever really cared about him as a performer. I forget the girl's name that was with them, but I'm being honest.
Serena Deeb.
Yes. And then I loved that version of CM Punk. Then CM Punk started getting, the pipe bomb happened, right? He started getting out of that shell of that, and he was out of it for a while, but then the pipe bomb happened, and we got taken to
the Summer of Punk.
The Summer of Punk. And it was amazing. It was phenomenal. It was awesome. I thought it was executed well. It blurred the lines of what is real, what is not real. And, that whole thing was planned, like not what was said. He said what he felt, but like they gave him a live mic, said, go do your thing. And I dove in, he still wasn't my favorite wrestler, but like I was in. I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. When he left, it was definitely, in my opinion, it took a shot for the amount of stars because it felt like one of your big stars had just left your company, even though he wasn't at the, being used as the main event guy during that time. Yeah, he was still at any time you could. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that was that time when you had Cena and Rock. So
yeah, exactly.
You're always going to be second fiddle to those guys.
Always. And he took gripe with that. And maybe his personally can, but I think anybody that's pulled back can see why it was the right business sense to do. Now, where are we at today with him? So he's kind of been labeled a little bit of a drama queen, a little bit of a troublemaker, difficult to be around. And it comes off to me in waves, man. Like, he, to me, is the cockiest, insecure person I've ever met. This is what I mean by this. You've got a guy who comes out and he runs his mouth and he's so damn good at it, right? I was like, what is this guy going to say? And just instantly, I bought into everything he said in that 10-minute speech.
Oh, yeah.
He said a lot, and we'll get to it. He said a lot. But he also, then you tell me about this interview that he has, and he talks about how one of the deals is that they can't go there.
Yeah, Tony said they wouldn't use that in a storyline or anything.
Do you think that's going to stop MJF?
No.
Hell no, it ain't going to stop MJF. He'll threaten being fired to get that out there.
Yeah. He'll probably say something like Vince told him to say it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's going to be
they're going to air. That's what you do in professional wrestling. You air your grievances on live national television, but like the ego of him to think he can control this narrative. Yeah. And part of me, it makes me feel like I need to do a 180 because last week I was saying I felt like a lot of the blame should be on the Bucks and the Elite. Yeah. But why wouldn't you want that story told if that's how it is? Yeah. Yeah. I just get bothered by that.
We're in for a wild ride down the road here.
Yeah. I think a lot of my a lot of my stock in him. I still like the guy a lot. You know what I mean? I'm glad he's back. I think he's good for professional wrestling. Obviously, we're talking about him. We're starting the show with him, and the Bloodline just had a huge thing happen in their storyline. So there's something there. But when he went to UFC and lost for real, which is fine, but then he comes back and he talks the shit he does, and I was all on board with that first AEW run. And then it goes, and now he's back talking that shit again. Yeah. But then to hear this, it does stick in my craw a little bit that he wants to control the narrative. That's just where I'm at with him. I think it's lower than ever before, but it's still pretty high. With that being said, did you catch Eric Bischoff talking about?
I did not.
Eric Bischoff. I'm going to bring this up. We're going to play a little clip of this.
I want to hear anything easy he says.
I'm going to give you Eric Bischoff on his thoughts on CM Punk. And I mean, you talk about shooting on someone. What's your respect level for Eric Bischoff?
I mean, I wasn't around when he was. I mean, the Monday Night Wars. I mean, that was like before those happened. So I don't have the full history with Eric Bischoff, and a lot of the parts I remember him, being the GM of Raw for a little bit. In that, right? It was Raw. He was the GM of Raw, right? Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And I remember his time in TNA. God bless TNA Impact. But I like Eric Bischoff.
Okay, but he's respected in the he's respected in the business.
He always tells the truth.
And the truth. Interesting use of words. I'm going to play you this, and you tell me if he told the truth, and then when it's done, you tell me if CM Punk the thought of him has changed at all.
Yeah.
Fan base. So I think CM Punk shit the bed. I think everybody sees, when Tony Khan brought CM Punk into AEW, he still had that mystique, the pipe bomb mystique. He was this character that stood up to the man and then walked away. And there's a rebel or rebellious quality in that character that I think the average American admires. So Punk had this mystique, and this still had his fan base, and Tony Khan was able to take advantage of that. And over a very short period of time,
we'll come back to this. This is not the one that I wanted to talk about. I'll get maybe it's this one.
And I'm telling you,
this is it right here.
I've told you from day one, this guy is not a star. And here's a really funny part of this that I'm thoroughly freaking enjoying is CM Punk has set himself up for just a dramatic failure. CM Punk came in with all of this mystique, and he did a good job of creating that mystique and maintaining it. And for that, I have respect. But once he got there, Punk didn't deliver. And then he turned into a bitch. And then he turned into something a little darker than just being a bitch and being whiny. And the audience has started to turn against him. The rabid CM Punk fan base has diminished substantially now because of all the mishigas and all the drama and the politics backstage and the fights and the biting and the dog and the scratching and the hair pulling and whatever else went on. It just sounds like such a bitch fest to me anyway. But because of all that, now we're bringing Punk back, and guess what? Remember when I told you, and I think I told you on this show, if I was Tony Khan, I would not bring Punk to the UK. I would establish the fact that I could sell 70,000 tickets without him. And they sold 65,000 tickets, and then they announced him. And how many additional tickets have they sold? 700? Like 1%? Whatever it is, it's incremental at best. And now they're having a hard time selling out these collision shows with Punk as a centerpiece. Am I right or am I right?
Interesting stuff from Eric Bischoff. What did you think? What's your take on that?
He makes a point. I don't agree the part that he's not a star, because I think CM Punk is a star. But I mean, it is true to see that, after they announced him, the sales for tickets and stuff like that outside of the Chicago show didn't spike.
It didn't spike, and I never know this stuff until you hear it, right? So, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have the time or the resources to come and fact check all this stuff all the time.
No one does,
right? But when you hear something like that from an accredited person like Eric Bischoff, it's just interesting. Is CM Punk does he move the needle? And then it really comes down to, well, then if he doesn't move the needle, what is a star? Because he feels like a star to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is a star simply just somebody who really does move the needle and puts asses in seats? Well, I think AEW is going to sell. I'm surprised they've sold 65,000. We've already discussed that. But when you put that into play, I think because it's their first time overseas, that plays part in how much they're selling. I think that is an argument that kind of is for CM Punk, even though they've only sold an additional 700. I think with him, they were going to sell. I think my story is that AEW would have sold 65,000 with or without him, regardless. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a novelty of like, we're going there for the first time. But I do think if they want to go back, he'll be a big part in if they sell 65,000 again. Yeah. But I just thought it was interesting. What'd you think about the actual promo? Let's dive into it.
Oh, I mean, I enjoyed especially talking if you take offense to it, you're as soft as your favorite wrestlers. And what he kept saying, or something about telling the truth, which, he kind of beat around the bush of bringing up everything that happened.
He did, absolutely.
And, how he's just in it for the business, like stuff like that. So it's like, all right. I mean, it got me excited. And then I really thought he was going to bring the belt out and be like, I'm still the champ. Like I
thought that was a story that I never going to do for a while.
And I was like, oh, and then later in the night, obviously he didn't come out with the belt again, but he was saying, if you want this belt, take it from me.
I love that line where he's like, first of all, he went after the Elite and the Young Bucks with the counterfeit Bucks line.
Yep. That was good.
And that was a great line.
That was good.
He came after MJF by saying, you brag about how great you were in the dog collar match. Yeah. I won the dog collar match, which is why he's the champion in his eyes, right? Has it been confirmed? Is he for sure only a Collision guy?
Nothing's been confirmed on that, but
I don't see how that's going to play, how that's going to work that way.
Yeah, he's too big. Like you said, he's too big of a person not to have on your show.
On your Wednesday nights, right?
He should be on your Wednesday and Saturdays. I mean, you can give him Friday off if you want, unless it's in Chicago.
which knowing AEW, they'll put him in Chicago every week if they have to.
You gotta.
That pop was awesome. I thought his promo was awesome. It's just funny because you're like, how is this guy going to come back, and what is he going to say to get these guys back on his side? And I thought he did enough, truthfully. I thought he did enough to be cheered at the next building he goes in, whether it's Wichita, Kansas, or Chicago, Illinois.
God, Wichita, Kansas. Love it. It's our go-to for everything. Yeah, no, he's going to be cheered.
You do think so?
Yeah, he'll be cheered.
I agree.
Everybody, I mean, and he's still dynamite on the mic. I mean, the match he was in was pretty good. He looked like he didn't really lose a step. People are going to cheer for him.
Yeah.
And I do start seeing they'll probably start booing the Elite now that he's back.
See, and that's interesting because the commentary after promos, or after Punk's promo, was the narrative actually after that was by a lot of the internet trolls was, is he heel? Is he hero?
Yeah.
And the question is going to be, if he's a heel, then that means what? Are they going to eventually get to the Elite? Are they heels? Are they heroes? Yeah. What are they playing right now?
Which, I mean, they were heels not too long ago.
Right. That's what my point is. So it's like,
are you going to turn them back? Because, I mean, they are faces now.
Or are they just going to be too neutral? You know what I mean? And then
the match kind of lets it show off who becomes the heel.
Yeah.
De facto heel, de facto face.
It's interesting. I do wonder if they're going to end up getting booed, though.
I just wonder. I wonder how long, because it's inevitable. Like Thanos, it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
It better be inevitable. If it's not inevitable, then to me, I crap on Tony Khan a lot, and I love that he's brought an alternative thing, right? Yeah. But a lot of it does. I feel a lot of what Eric Bischoff felt about how he's a really rich guy that has an expensive hobby. Yeah. And I think he likes it a lot more than Eric Bischoff gives him credit for. I think he loves it. I just don't know that the organization and the see-through is there, right? What we want and what we hated about WWE for a while, and I think they kind of are starting to figure it out a little bit. AEW just, it feels like, oh, we've got all this roster. Yeah. I don't know how to manage it. I'll get us another show, guys. Yeah. And that's what he goes and does. We're going to have 7 days a week. Collision, Rampage, Wreckage, ROH one day. It's just, you know what I mean?
Wreckage.
Car Crash Monday. It's just going to be a thing. And I kind of agree with Bischoff in that point. But, you know what I mean? When it comes to it, it's like Tony Khan better find a way to make money off this because that's what we are at the saliva. I mean, we want it so badly.
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes 6 months to a year to get there.
I
Beat around the bush.
Yeah, beat around the bush. Don't let it right away. Let's run this down.
Small interactions in the background.
Yeah.
Just something that just kind of gets it going. And then like when they get to whatever their big, WrestleMania pay-per-view is or whatever they're going to find. I wish they would come out in like a flagship. Like, this is what we want our Super Bowl of wrestling to be.
It's all out.
It is all out. They've said that.
All out's their big.
That's their big one?
Yeah,
okay.
Their marquee one.
I apologize for that then. So then maybe save it for that. And then, I don't know, man. Great things. So then we got later on that night in Collision, you got FTR versus CM Punk versus Samoa Joe and boys.
You mean CM FTR.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I loved it. I want that. I almost bought that shirt.
That's a
last
pretty
night.
dope.
It's dope.
It is
versus,
dope.
Versus Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, good match, like you thought it would be.
Educate me on something. I read it online that people couldn't believe that Samoa Joe and CM Punk were face to face.
Well, they used to be big rivals in.
Okay. In what?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Is there legitimate beef between the two?
That I don't know. I mean, from last night watching like the first interaction, you thought they were. I mean, if
laying it in
if
thick.
he was mad about Hangman Page doing stiff shots, he better be really mad Samoa Joe because they were.
He can't be though.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe's that real
Samoa
dude.
Joe
He's that real dude. And he'll bark back at you.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see those two.
Oh yeah. But the rumor is that CM Punk's really high on Jay White, so you can kind of build that first rivalry in there. You're always going to have Joe if he's going to be a mainstay on Collision.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, right choice. Punk and FTR win, of course. You can't have that. Fans loved it. Yeah, when he hit the GTS, I mean, everybody lost it. So, I mean, good match in general.
Good to see him back. And it was actually the right call to put him in a in a tag trios because it's been a while. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's probably been getting the ring rust off a little bit. But for the most part, he's...
Don't put him right into...
You can't go one-on-one right away.
I mean, no offense, like, with it. I mean...
I wouldn't do it with anybody.
Going one-on-one against Samoa Joe, probably not a great opportunity thing. Going one-on-one against Jay White, probably not a good thing.
Especially Jay White, right?
Juice Robinson, I mean, you could probably be like, okay, yeah, he that might be a good tune-up, but you don't want to put him against guys that are...
No, because then you really expose, what you're, and you need to make sure you got to continue to hide those flaws.
Should we talk about some of the other key things?
Let's hit on all those
Collision?
Since we're on Collision.
So Collision.
I can't believe we're starting the show with, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to guess. I'm going to make a projection that we don't start with AEW Collision a lot in the future. But you never know, man. We'll see.
Become my new NXT. Okay, so big things happening last night. I'll just go kind of out of order with it. Returning of Andrade El Idolo versus Buddy Matthews. Fantastic match. They both sold. Andrade sold his injury he came back from. I hope Buddy Matthews isn't seriously injured because it looked nasty. His knee, he was hobbling around. They had to give him medical attention during the match. Big thing after that, Andrade wins. The House of Black shows up.
Yeah.
So if people don't remember, because Andrade's been gone for a while, he is technically Los Faccionales, Ingobernables, whatever, the ungovernable faction with Roosh and Preston and the other guy, the Mass Luchador. I can't.
Are they going to bring that back?
Are they going to bring them back into a trios match? And then the other return, Miro returns. Tony Nese comes out, does the typical heel thing. I honestly thought it was going to be Colt Cabana come out, though.
Oh, did you?
He was just, going after Chicago.
Yeah.
But Miro comes back, and Miro looks good.
Looks great, dude.
And just, great match. Tony Nese is another good. I think that's a perfect guy to have if you're returning after a long away, because Tony Nese is going to make as a good wrestler. And I don't think people think about him as much, but he's good.
Right. No, he can definitely work.
Miro work in the crowd really well.
He's over. He was over there.
Is he going to be a face, a heel? Because,
shouldn't we know? Shouldn't we know after last night? Like, shouldn't you debut and just know?
Yeah. But crowd reaction, he should be a face. But when he debuted the first time as the best man, I mean, fans were hooting and hollering, and they turned him heel right away. But man, working the crowd, I love his facial. After he won the match, and just stands and looks up to the sky because God's favorite champion he was and Redeemer. I love just the facial expressions on him.
I'm with you, dude.
I'm happy he's back.
I'm happy he's back. I think he's a workhorse. I actually think he's one of those guys that could probably benefit going back to WWE. I think he would get a push onto the Triple H realm. Yeah. I would love to, dude. AEW, WWE doesn't matter to me. I would love for him and Lana to get back together.
I know.
I think she pushes him well, and she's obviously great to look at. She's great on the mic.
She is very good on the mic.
And she sells shit.
And I mean, I think it would be perfect to, because I mean, he's mentioned her so many times.
Yeah.
But they haven't done anything, and she's not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Does she not want to anymore, or is AEW just not offered the contract?
She just shows up at like WWE events.
She's everywhere. She's best friends with all those girls.
It's like, just bring her in. She'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Other big thing from they had a tag match with the Outcast versus Sky Blue, Will Nightingale. Sky Blue got the huge pop for being from Chicago. She picked up the win as
she should have.
As she should have. Next, the other biggest thing is new TNT champion. Wardlow defeated by Luchasaurus, but if you watch that match and you watch the end, you would have thought Christian Cage won the title.
Yeah,
instantly grabs it and starts celebrating. I loved it.
Yeah, that's classic Christian Cage 101 right there. That's where a veteran, they sat in the back and worked that out. That's where a veteran makes a difference.
Yeah. The only thing, I mean, I liked the match. I thought it was really good. The only thing I hate is why take the title off of you? Powerhouse Hobbs won the title. Instantly, you give it back to Wardlow, and then I think it was like 40-something days he had this title.
We're talking in 2 months, there's 3 champions.
Yeah, it's like, and now you're doing nothing with Powerhouse Hobbs. What are you going to do from this? Because you'll probably get a rematch, and then which Luchasaurus will probably retain. Oh, who knows, actually. You might not, knowing their booking. But Wardlow, half a year ago, Wardlow was your star.
Right.
A huge star.
Huge star. Goldberg type rise. I mean, never got to the Goldberg, so I don't want to exaggerate.
Had
but
the look.
The build was there.
Had the moves. Everything.
Didn't have to speak.
Nope.
But could.
And was right after the turn on MJF, riding a high. Probably could have been your next, give him the TNT title, have him have it for a while, then be the next champion. And now it's just like he's had the TNT title twice. I don't remember anything about it, about his reigns. They cut his hair, which, I mean, kind of just takes his look away.
It does. It kills
his. And it's just like, what are we doing?
Your whole package is your hair. It's all about it. I gotta get my nipple on.
That's something that is one thing I have an issue with AEW at the moment is the people that are red hot. They give them a title, they drop it, and then they're just like they're done. Like
I want to ask you a question though. I want to ask you a question.
People like the Guns. You did the same thing with them. It's just like.
But this is my problem. All right, so this is where my gripe comes in, and I appreciate that you're willing to criticize, right? And I probably over criticize, and I let me just start off by saying I understand what the draw is to AEW. It's an alternative to sports entertainment. It's professional wrestling in the ring. With that being said, it offers car crashes. It's a different circus. Yeah. And who says my circus is better than your circus? I'm going off of traditional circus, and I love that. Yeah. That's why I love where WWE's at right now, because they finally seem like they figured it out. And it's been a while. And if we would have done this show 2 years ago, it would have been a lot of me hating on WWE's product, right?
And me probably just hooting and hollering about AEW.
Right. And there was a time and a period where that was true. But now where we are, this is my issue with AEW. It just does, and this is where I kind of agree with Eric Bischoff a little bit, is that if you want the car crash all the time, which you love, you're like, these matches are great. I love how they, you know what I mean? You're going to get that type of mentality all the time with even your storylines, because you're just getting no continuity with anything. Dude, I said this to you, I think, in the first inaugural episode that we had together. I can't tell you who's part of whose team there. None of them dress cohesively. They all wear their own damn individual uniform, but yet there's 7 of them to every time they come out, because there's so many guys on the roster that they got to fill up. They got to get their TV time, right?
Who was it when we watched Revolution, and you're how mad you were with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett's team?
Yes,
none of them look like they belong together.
What's Big Khan? Is that his name, or the
Satnam Singh?
Satnam Singh, dude. It's just like I don't understand why these people are thrown together. None of them look right. You know what's the first thing they do in the Bloodline? They all wear their same shirts. They all they're a cohesive,
at least similar.
Yes,
color
something,
scheme, everything. Yeah,
something. And even if you don't like it, like even Retribution, which is the shittiest faction in the last 10 years in wrestling.
You watch how you talk about Slapjack.
Oh, we got a secret Slapjack fan. My point is they at least dressed. We knew they were all on the same damn team. I can't tell when these guys come out if they're all on a team or if 2 of the guys were people from the crowd that just thought they'd jump the rail and walk up with them. Yeah. Like, that's where we're at. to get back to Wardlow, I think AEW has the opposite impact that WWE used to have in the 90s, which is WWE is obsessed with big guys in the 90s, didn't know how to use little guys. AEW doesn't seem to have a care in the world for the big guys. They love these smaller professional wrestler types.
Yep. Your Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs.
They don't have a place right now in
Brian
AEW.
Cage, you're like, they should be megastars.
Which I would ask, if they had a Brock Lesnar, what the hell would they have Brock Lesnar doing? 720 moonsaults off the top rope?
Yeah,
Springboard.
Springboard 450 is onto tables, and then Sabu would jump through one. I don't know.
That's my point. It's just like you have something in Wardlow, and it never comes to fruition.
Which makes me you have. I'm not saying he's a giant, but Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake, bigger guy,
big guy.
Paul the Big Show is not Mark Henry. How do we not have a stable like heavyweight, super heavyweight like kind of division going on?
Your flips are cute. We're here to just beat your ass and go like
that's why I love the FTR because they're not. I mean, yes, now that they're in AEW, they do occasionally a couple more like especially.
They do that to keep up with the times.
Yeah, he does a couple, occasional, and they even put in a storyline. I mean, he tried to do a 450 and he got pinned.
Yeah,
because of it, but that's why I loved when they were the revival, and especially FTR, the no flips, just fist.
Yes, I love that too.
You got to have these people that are just that traditional.
It's an identity right away. They're just they remind me of old school APA. You know what I mean? Just
beat the heck out of everybody and go. I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know.
Anyways. I get it though, but I just want to say I appreciate that you're willing to criticize. That's where I fall short. I feel like if there was just a little bit more, if they could tighten that up a little bit more, I would get more invested in the AEW product because it's like, okay, because WCW back in the day in the 90s, I know you were still a young buck, but when the WCW was on top of the world, one thing that they did do well, I hated the cruiserweight division, wasn't a fan of it, but at least, that could have been like the way you break that down is that was the AEW hour. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at least they gave me enough traditional wrestling and storytelling that I had something I could gripe. I loved WCW back in the day. I was always a WWF guy, but I was flipping it back and forth. I had to see what was going on. Yeah. I can't say that I would do that if AEW was on Monday nights.
Yeah,
But that's just my take.
You would like one or the other. But yeah. So yeah, you have Christian Cage as your TNT champion but I'm excited to see where that goes. How are they going to play that?
Even though it's Luchasaurus, so are they playing it out that way though?
Is Christian Cage Luchasaurus is your champion? They posted the graphic with him, but Christian Cage didn't even let him hold the belt.
He's claiming it. Yeah.
We're going to see how because he claimed he got
what a great
screwed out and stuff like that.
What a great thing for Christian. Good for him.
So yeah, that was really other things. We'll just go over AEW quickly this week. MJF and Adam Cole went to a time limit draw, 30 minutes.
So in the world of Eliminator, how does that work? Is that benefit?
Nope. Adam Cole technically loses.
Oh, loses. That's
so he
right.
Doesn't get the title shot. But after Adam Cole, give me 5 more minutes. MJF just gets out of the ring.
Yeah, and then finds out that he's got a match at Forbidden Door. Tanahashi, which is this is what you wanted, right? Or was there?
It's one. No, I would.
Wanted.
I would have had Sonata.
Sonata, yeah.
That's who. Sonata also issued a challenge in Jungle Boy.
But I love how MJF was like,
no, I'm not doing it.
No, but then AEW posts it.
I called him a Japanese indie show. No, but did you see how they did it last night when they showed the graphic? They said MJF will defend the AEW championship against Tanahashi, but MJF says he probably won't show up.
Oh yeah, I see that.
It's like they're gonna play that kind of.
Which I've no-showed before, he said. Yeah. I'm not afraid to no-show. I've done that before.
Yeah. So that was cool. Sammy Guevara kind of returns and makes some stuff, and Jericho comes out pretty much like wanting an apology and stuff like that.
And then we get this is special.
Yeah, and then
this is big.
So Darby is out there as well with Sting, and then Sting and Jericho confront each other.
This is huge. This is my third favorite thing that happened this week. This is big.
It's huge.
This is the roots of WCW. This is this the end for Sting in the in-ring?
Probably.
Is this the goodbye? Will this end up being like a career versus career match?
Ooh, that'd be cool. At Wembley.
At Wembley.
That would be.
I mean, let's put it this way. So I don't want to take credit for this, but Busted Open already threw this out there as far as like Sting, the biggest crowd Sting's going to fight in is going to be Wembley if he was the fight
Yeah.
in the rest of his career, unless he was to sign back with WWE. And I don't know that he would get another big time match like that.
He won't get, if he signs with WWE, they would make him a backstage producer. He wouldn't wrestle.
There would be no wrestling. So if you want that big goodbye, this is it.
Yeah. And I love that idea.
So the question is he ready? Is he ready to hang it up and officially be in the world of professional wrestling? You never
truly are.
But if you're going to sell it, I wish they would. You know what I mean? Like,
I think they do it. I think he ends it.
so you think it's
he can still be the manager that he is now. He wrestles once, twice, maybe a year.
A year, yeah.
Does a spot off diving off the stage, and you're like, Sting, stop it.
But dude, how cool was that? Just that visual of Jericho and Sting.
The bats.
Yeah, the bat. Oh, busted open. They threw it out there. Bubba Ray was like, they should do a bat on a pole match. And
I like it.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there's Darby Allin, Sting, all them had a match. Cool against Swerve's group that it has a bunch of big guys in it that AEW doesn't like.
Yeah.
Here's a match that really kind of made me mad. Jake Hager versus Wardlow for the champion. Wardlow wins.
Yeah.
It retains, and then you have him lose.
That's because the only reason Wardlow lost on Saturday is because it was Saturday's first night. He wanted a belt to exchange. That con that I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Like, was there any interaction between Wardlow and Luchasaurus on Wednesday after that match? Because
no, they Christian Cage and Luchasaurus were backstage.
Okay,
and they bloodied Arn Anderson.
Okay,
so it's just kind of been, I don't know. So
and Luchasaurus is a big guy. I actually think Luchasaurus has been used probably the most as a big guy in the world of AEW. What did you say?
Yeah. Did you know he was in WWE too? A long time.
Yeah. Who was he?
Judas Draven. He never made it out of NXT. He was supposed to be the fourth member of the Wyatt family before.
Oh, don't tell me that. He would have been good.
And he has the look too. When he doesn't have that mask, he's got the long hair.
I haven't seen when he looks like without the mask.
So, and then other match, Sky Blue versus Tony Storm. That pretty much ended.
Okay.
As Tony Storm beat Sky Blue, and then that led to their match on Friday or on Saturday.
Okay.
That was it. Rampage, really, I want to talk about one thing.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. On AEW, the Young Bucks and Hangman versus Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, that was.
And then that just led to a cluster F at the end, where at the end, pretty much, Will Ospreay sneak shotted Kenny Omega, just setting up that match even more with a stiff elbow. It was awesome.
Leading to a blood and guts in the future.
Down the road, yeah. Because Kakeshka, whatever his name, he's going to be with Blackpool, and they'll probably, there's rumor Kota Ibushi will be part of the Elites team.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one guy I never can remember his name in Blackpool Combat Club.
So you have...
I know the big three, and then there's that fourth guy.
Wheeler Yuta.
Does he fit?
Yeah.
Does he? Okay, I've asked you that before. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, he fits.
Okay, good.
He fits pretty well with that group. But yeah, talk about, you get mad when teams don't look the same. The Young Bucks and they came out wearing the cowboy stuff. And they had the best tagline above their name, because if people don't know, they sometimes go by the Hung Bucks. So yeah, they're talking about it's a name commonly used.
Let me all right, I'm going to retract what I said earlier. Here's my thing about the Young Bucks. That is a legitimate tag team that exists in this world that I want to see lose. They emotionally get shit out of me. So they do their job.
Yeah.
Right? You see what I'm saying? I don't like them when they get committed. It's not even them, really. It's everybody. I'm going to go back to a CM Punk line. I don't hate you, Young Bucks. I hate the idea that you're the best.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you are the best.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
That's so great. Line. That's where I'm at with the Young Bucks. Oh, I hate the idea that you're the best. Because you're not. What else we got?
So then really only thing, we'll go to Rampage. The biggest thing on that one is that we had the match of the year, just 6-man match. Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Karen Jarrett versus Mark Briscoe, Papa Briscoe, and Aubrey Edwards. This match sucked. It was awful to watch, but I enjoyed every moment of it.
And this is the AEW circus that people love. This is that yin and the yang. If you're going to be upset about this, make sure you love this so that you still enjoy the product.
Okay.
How'd Aubrey Edwards do? How did she hold up on her end of the in
Not
ring?
bad. I mean, she only did a couple moves, hit some. I think it was Jay Lethal.
I think she's got potential, dude.
Yeah.
I think she's good on the mic.
But I want to go back quickly. So yeah, the Hangman, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. It said formerly known by a sexual, suggestive, and anatomically misleading team name. That's awesome. Whoever does that part deserves a raise.
Oh, that's the Young Bucks right there.
Hangman was doing the drunk part. He deserved everything. But yeah,
that's definitely him right there.
You know, it was like I said, it wasn't the greatest match, but it was fun to watch that.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make. It's always gonna be entertaining.
It really, a lot of these matches on here, really. So, a match to set up Forbidden Door, just like promoting it with the Chaos versus United Empire, and then Taya Valkyrie beats the crap out of Trish Adora, but sets up she's gonna go against
Forbidden Door. When's that touted to be? When is the date on that?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah, next Sunday.
Okay.
But on a side note, they announced that Jericho is having a match at Forbidden Door with Sammy Guevara on his team with Minoru Suzuki, the murder grandpa. So that's going to be exciting because he likes to
that
beat
is the
people
best name I've ever heard in my life.
I love it. So yeah, it's just kind of that show. The biggest thing was that match and setting up stuff for Forbidden Door.
Okay.
Now it's time for your side of the woods.
Yeah, dude, my side of the coin, basically just we need to jump right into the Bloodline storyline picks up again. And now you texted me something and you asked me, and I just want to get your thoughts real quick. So, you know, I'm not big into the recap of everything anymore because if you're listening, you should already know what happened. Basically, we've got a turn. We've got a definitive decision by the Usos. They are officially out of the Bloodline. They have Jay has sided with his brother. I loved the line at the end where he says, you know, you're out and I'm out too. And then Bam kicks Roman. But then when they both did it, did you see when they both did it?
I love when they kicked him, Roman, and then, you know, Solo's face and then just double drop kicking Solo.
Dude.
It's like, oh.
Dude, they sold that perfectly. Heyman's facials were awesome. This chapter now is starting. So now you asked me, is the Bloodline over?
Yeah. Well, the reason I did that.
Okay, go ahead.
So if many people click, because it was my favorite line of the whole show was at the end when they were finishing up and he says, the Bloodline is over as we know it and Roman's empire is crumbling.
Yeah.
And it was like, but it made me think, oh, is Bloodline actually done? So then I texted you. And
my answer was no, because first of all, the business side, it's a moneymaker. Yeah. That was Friday Night SmackDown. It wasn't a pay-per-view. Yeah. So this is going to lead to a tag team match, in my opinion, right?
It's already been announced.
Oh, it has? Okay, missed it.
At Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, Roman, Solo
versus the
Usos needs to happen. My question is going to be this. Do the Usos, well, we won't get into predictions yet, but like is maybe just like a projection of what the path is going to be because I want to answer your question of what you texted me. Is the Bloodline over with? Yes, in its current iteration. The Bloodline will grow again because I believe there's going to be other players introduced, bigger, better players introduced, maybe not well known as the Usos because who's more well known than the Usos that could be in the thing outside of The Rock, right? And he's not coming out to help Roman anytime. I do think this is the road to Rock Roman, though. See, what happens here is I think you go down the road where you have the tag team match. And whether or not Roman and Solo win or they lose, it really doesn't matter because eventually you're going to get maybe, I don't know all the cousins or all the brothers that are a part of professional wrestling that could be part of this bloodline, right? Yeah. But you're going to, just like Solo was introduced last year, you're going to get, you know, at Clash of the Castle, you're going to get somebody or somebodies introduced and you're going to have a 4-man group again. And my only hope is that they are all a part of the bloodline. Like you don't want to bring in, you know, what's the tag team that's new to WWE Raw that is, or maybe it's SmackDown. The guys that wear the half shirts from NXT.
Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly. I don't want them to bring in Pretty. No, they're great. I don't want to bring them into. Yeah, I just like you don't want it to be something not affiliated with it.
No, that's why I was going to lead my question. I understand, you know, there is a lot of members of that family that are wrestling, but most of them outside of, I think, The Rock's daughter, most of them are not signed with WWE at this moment. Okay. So do you find other wrestlers that have Samoan heritage and do the thing?
Or look Samoan. And I brought this up before when I said Akbar or whoever their name was and Razor, the guys from What was it?
Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain. I thought they were awesome. Imagine if that tag team shows up and is standing behind Roman now, and now they're bigger, better versions of, you know what I mean? They're I don't even know if they're Samoan. I have no idea.
I think one is, and I think one's from Albania.
Well, shit, then maybe they won't do it. But I think you could trick us, the fans, but maybe they wouldn't. Maybe WWE doesn't even want to go down that road because they want to keep it so authentic. You know what I mean?
I do hope, though, I want them to bring in, like, The Rock's daughter when that whole schism thing ends, which it probably will soon. Bring her up just to have.
Now, would she come in? Because this is what I think happens. I ultimately think Jimmy and Jay will bring in Cousin Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have kind of like in NWO white and black versus NWO red and black. You'll have the bloodline with Jimmy and Jay and The Rock, and maybe other iterations there versus Roman and his bloodline. That's where I think it's going.
Yeah.
And then a true fight for who the head of the table is. Is it The Rock or is it Roman?
Yeah, that'd be good. This is the guy. Do you know who Jacob Fatu is?
Yeah.
The Samoan werewolf?
Mm-hmm.
Bring him in. If you guys, this man is, he's
got the great look,
he's one
too.
of their cousins, one of the cousins. So bring it. I know WWE has been highly interested in him.
Yeah, because what happens if this is the end of the bloodline as we know it, and there is no plans for it to build back up, and this is just Roman's empire crumbling, then that means what? They're going to take the belt off of him soon, because you can't have Roman's empire crumble for 9 months until Mania. That's too long.
I feel like they might.
For 9 months until Mania?
Because here's my thought process on that.
Under the current, just the way things are right now.
I think they could, because the whole time, they were teasing, you weren't on, it took you till you got with me. I got you there to get to WrestleMania, to be on the card.
Right.
So they could play that whole thing kind of going.
But how do you stretch this for 9 months? I mean, you got 10 pay-per-views between now and then.
That's the hard thing, is like, do you have it be the forefront? Because, I mean, like I said, they announced yesterday they're having a tag match at
Money in the Bank.
So do we kind of...
Because after Money in the Bank, I believe the next touted one will be SummerSlam.
Yeah, in Detroit. Rock City.
Let's go, baby.
So, I don't know, do you do like a minor, this pay-per-view, you have a match, maybe you do one at SummerSlam, and then it kind of, Roman kind of does his thing, but it's still teased. Maybe you run some stuff with Solo and them. You drag it along, and then maybe that's when we get The Rock Roman at Mania. I don't...
Yeah, because
and they're, like I said, it kind of throws a whole thing in here, because they're still high on Cody and Roman, and next year's Mania reports are.
I hate to say it, but if I have the pen and I have both Rock and Cody available for Mania, I'm taking The Rock, and it's going to be now. I do think you could lose the belt before then, because I still don't think Roman and Rock needs to be for the belt.
Yeah,
I think you could screw Roman and route to Mania and get that belt off of him. Mm-hmm. The problem is it still doesn't come from Cody Rhodes. Yeah, because in order for Cody to quote unquote finish the story, he has to win clean. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So it just doesn't fit. I just think Cody came in a time. This is so Cody Rhodes.
Cody came at the time.
Cody is just a guy that has not ever hit the right time at the right place.
The company wants him to be the top guy, and he isn't. He just isn't. Someone else is either the top, the fans want as the top guy, or the situation is not right.
I think this time the fans want Cody as a top guy, but the business is like, there's just no way, because he's not the top guy. Cody is not on Roman's level. It's nowhere near it.
Cody was... they were toting him, bringing him back. Sammy was everybody wanted Sammy. And now, honestly, I think most people want Jey Uso to be the one who takes it off Roman.
No way, dude.
You don't think so? I would
no
main event Jey.
Way.
Oh, I would.
Main event, you would be fine with main event Jey taking that belt off him. Yes. Not big enough. Not the star power, not big enough. If you're not going to let Cody do it, you're going to let Jey.
Oh, we got 9 months till Mania. What?
You think he's going to? You think by this time? So you're saying Jey Uso could be Sami Zayn status in 9 months?
Yeah.
I don't.
I think you can make it.
Okay. I think that's undercutting how good Sami Zayn is.
I don't think it will happen. I would love it to, but
I'm going to go. All right. I get what you're saying, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, and it's probably unfair to me to say, but I always knew Sami Zayn had that in him. I always knew it. He's been a fan. I've been a diehard fan of his for a while, right? Because even when he was doing the Fidel Castro shit, it's like, this dude's good. Let this dude get something other than just the Intercontinental Championship. I thought he made relevant all the time, right? I don't know that Jay has that next level in him.
Yeah, because we only saw a quick glimpse of it as a singles, but I mean, it was good.
It was good, but like, he's good enough on the mic, but like there's a cadence and he's got to think about it where Sammy can just pop. I don't know that Jay can get us there.
Jay's not the when they're tagging, Jimmy's the mouthpiece.
Jimmy's the mouthpiece.
Jay's the guy who goes,
yeah.
The hype man.
He's the hype guy. So my question is then how does Jay get enough fan backing outside of just wanting to see Roman lose? Like
Jimmy, they just beat the crap out of Jimmy.
I think they legitimately wanted Sammy to win the belt. They wanted Sammy to beat Roman. I think if Jay was the win, they would literally just want it to be Roman to lose.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't know, man. I got to tell you, this storyline, it's so interesting to me. I'm going to ask you this question. I was thinking about this because everybody's blowing this storyline up and saying how great it is. Are we just excited that WWE has given us a storyline that's had credibility this long and it's not as good as we're giving the clout to? Or is it really as good as it is?
It's good. I think it's very good.
Where does it fall for you, storylines, just off top of your head in your lifetime? Maybe it's too soon to give it credit, but like, is it the best storyline in the history of wrestling?
What do you think? I got to think about this. I'll let you, if you know where do you think it lands? Because I got to think for a second.
Because me,
once again, I'm that guy. I care more about the wrestling aspect than the storyline. So for me, I got to think.
I'm not all right. So my biases say no because I don't like being victim of the moment. I like to like get some distance between the storyline and then be like, that was amazing. I miss it. Then put how much credence and weight do I put into how much I miss it? Okay. With that being said, when you think about every time they show a stat of Roman Reigns of when this started, he hasn't lost a singles match since 2019.
To who?
To we talked about this. To Baron Corbin.
Yes.
Baron Corbin.
Is that Baron Corbin's been using that on NXT? I love it.
Trivia night. Since 2019, that's 4 years ago almost. He's definitely going to have it going into 2024.
Yeah.
He hasn't, the bloodline storyline has been going on since 2020. Mm-hmm. During the days of the Thunderdome, it's 2023. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. This is 4 years of storytelling.
Yep.
I think it's the best storyline in the history of wrestling.
I agree 100%.
In my lifetime.
It is to me is the best one.
You agree?
Yeah. Yep. I just think it's just it's taken everybody on a emotional roller coaster for almost 4 years. Because
I'll also tell you why. In addition to like all the obvious reasons. Was it just like 4 weeks ago? Maybe it was the last episode we did before last week where we were like, is it starting to feel stale? Mm-hmm. And then bam, they give us like two really big things that happen and change the whole thing. And now we're back to like, holy shit, we care about this.
Well, you think about it.
It's like, I just feel like Triple H or whoever's really running it really has their thumb and pulse on this right now, and they know when it's getting stale, or they know what they need to do, and they're just hitting it at the right time all the time.
Well, it's like we had when people kind of thought things were going a little bit stale with it. Then you had Sammy, the whole thing with Sammy.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, that ran its course. Now we got to switch up. We have the Usos. There's still, I mean, yes, one's not a wrestler, Paul Heyman. He's just the wise man. But how is he going to get out of the group?
Yeah.
How is Solo going to get out of the group? So we still have two more guys
that you know. See, and you know what's interesting? I was watching one of the reactors on TikTok, and they said something that I'm not 100% is true, but I think is, because I can't think of the alternative point. Still, Roman, has he turned on anybody? Or is he always the one getting turned on all the way back to the Shield?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
He is usually the one who gets turned on.
All right, I want to break this down. Is this true? What happened with, all right, just let's go back a month. What just happened with the Usos? Jimmy and Jay, all right, Solo and Roman were fighting at Night of Champions. They're fighting KO and Sami Zayn, right? The Usos came out and super kicked, was it Solo? and Roman.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happened to Jimmy that night? Jimmy turned.
Yeah, Jimmy turned.
Jimmy turned, but he didn't do anything. He was slapping him in the face, trying to get him in line, but he didn't turn on anybody.
Yeah. No.
Dude, this is that to me is even a better, that nugget right there. Think about that. We all think Roman's snake, right? But he's not. He's the most loyal dude in the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's just trying to get the best out of
Think about
his
that.
family. And
They haven't even added that wrinkle to it. They add that wrinkle. I've been getting betrayed since the jump. That goes back to Seth at the Shield. You know what I mean? I've never turned on any of you.
Seth turned on him. Dean turned his back and
Dean
made a whole thing about how he deserved the cancer because he was a shitty person. Like he's the one who gets.
I remember that.
When he was getting, and then he got he was getting a needle poked in his butt.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's fun.
I don't know, man. I just there's so many little wrinkles still to iron out with this, and we haven't quite got there. I just think it's a great storyline. So we got the turn. We definitely have definitive lines. I think there's gonna be more players. We'll just have to wait and see, man.
Yeah. Do you want to go over other events in Raw and SmackDown, or do you want to kind of go to?
Well, let's talk about the best of the rest and what we think is what is a big storyline. So we've got Dom and Cody coming up, which I think is going to be huge.
It's was officially made for Money in the Bank.
And I told you I thought Dom was going to win with Brock interference, and I think that's going to be great. I can't wait for the night after where Dom is just touting how bad he beat Cody.
We have the full Money in the Bank set.
This we should talk about.
That's what I was going to go through, and because there's 4 matches at the moment that are set.
All right, let's go through them right now real quick. We won't need to go through the breakdowns of who we think is going to win,
Okay,
but let's just talk about
the ones that WWE has posted the graphic on social media. So you have Dom and Cody.
Love it. A plus booking, A plus card already.
Then you have and Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for his title.
I loved Finn and how they're getting back to that storyline. Yeah. It's been a long time. Finn needs. I think Finn was trying to do his best. They were starting to the song.
Yeah.
The crowd was hitting him with Seth's song the whole time. But you could tell that Finn really this is important to him, and I actually care about Finn in the storyline. Finally,
the guy who should be the main draw of the bloodline, and arguably is the least important one now, is getting his shot, which he deserves.
I agree.
Money in the Bank men's. So we have.
This is interesting.
Santos Escobar.
Okay.
Butch, a.k.a. Pete Dunne.
Okay.
Damian Priest.
Okay.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
Ricochet.
Okay.
And whose game is it?
L.A. Knight. Yeah. All right. Way too early predictions.
It's L.A. Knight. It has to be.
I don't think it's going to be. I want it to be.
Who do you think it's going to be?
My fear is that guy. It's going to be Shinsuke.
Shinsuke Nakamura?
I hope I'm wrong. I hate to say this. I think Shinsuke, you know what? If I was to back off, if I had to make a prediction, I would say LA Knight. Because but I've been saying LA Knight for a while. I think LA Knight would just be the perfect person to carry this briefcase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Shinsuke, to me, feels like his time with WWE right now is he's just filling in that veteran, almost like an AJ Styles did the last year. Yeah. I think that's where Shinsuke's at right now. But they just brought him back, so you never know how they're going to build someone.
Yeah.
But what's your thoughts of that? There's no star power in there really outside of LA. LA Knight legitimately is the biggest name in that right now.
Yeah. Now, I think.
Are you okay with that? No,
I'm okay with that because I like the idea of it being whenever you get super big people in it, it's like, okay, we kind of automatically know who's going to win almost. Right. It's like, oh, if you added Cody Rhodes in this match.
But I wish they would. See, I wish they would have added somebody like a Cody Rhodes. It doesn't have to be Cody Rhodes, but like a veteran that we think was going to win, and then they swerve us.
Yeah.
That I like.
See, I like this because it's like, okay, I could make a case, honestly, for every single person on there. Be like, they deserve.
I would love LA Knight is who I would want to win, but if Butch won, I'd be down with that.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah.
And these are people that Ricochet.
Actually,
Ricochet, think about it. This guy is going to do a probably double moonsault off the ladder. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. He's not going to win.
He's not going to win, but he should get the spotlight.
I think actually I said Shinsuke. I think Damian would be the second one I would choose. Yeah. I think it would be LA Knight or Damian.
Here's the thing too. Let's be honest. Whoever wins it, if they, I know recently people have been cashing in at different titles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be for Seth's title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
100%,
no way someone's
100%.
going to go after do it. It just makes sense.
Although they already kind of alluded to the lower belts. I forget who it was, but nobody wants to see someone cash in for the United States Championship.
And let me
Bianca Belair,
so
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, that it'll probably be Charlotte versus Asuka for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. It looks like it. There's Becky, Bailey, Zelina Vega, Io Sky, and Zoe Starks.
What would you?
They probably will add one more person in there. I bet
That was only 4, wasn't it?
5. Right.
I would like to see Zelina, personally.
I would like that too. I want to see it be Io Sky.
Okay.
And just so she has it, and then we tease them more. The breakup of that group with Bailey
that needs to happen.
Kind of costly because there's talks they wanted to turn her face already.
Bailey?
No, Io.
Oh, Io Sky. Yeah.
So
yeah.
like, let her.
Yeah, she can.
Let her have the title. That briefcase and Bailey kind of cost her almost like. I don't know who's the women's or. I wouldn't say Rhea because Rhea's dominant.
No.
But Asuka just had a huge match against Charlotte, beaten up, and she's running down there. And Bailey grabs her and like, no, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't. And it's like, oh, perfect opportunity missed. And then maybe she does it and she loses.
Did you see WWE just put a collection of cash-ins on the internet for the women of every Money in the Bank winner and how long it took them to cash in?
Yeah.
One person was 270 some days, Carmella.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody else was like within hours.
Yeah.
Think about that. You've had what, 5, 6 Money in the Bank winners, and they're all on the same day. Don't you think it's a little overplayed?
Which one was I at? I was at
Were you at Alexa, my girl?
I was at that one. I was at the first women's Money in the Bank match too. The one.
Oh, you were?
Where James Ellsworth won it.
Oh, and then yeah, dude, that would have been dope.
Yeah, it was funny as all. No, but that was funny because I didn't expect Alexa cash in that same night because it was Ronda.
But that was early on, first time one of it's ever been done.
Yeah.
Or maybe the second time. Against Ronda, though.
Third, technically, because James Ellsworth won the first one.
Oh, that's right.
And they had to redo the match, which they had the same outcome. So,
no, But that was against Ronda, and that was huge because she was hurt, and then Alexa came out and her moves. I was like, oh my God, Alexa won the Money in the Bank, and then she just won the championship all in the same night. I was like, they really get behind this girl.
Yeah. Who else won during those ones? I think Braun won his. And he had it that same night that Alexa won. I just remember they piled a bunch of ladders on.
Oh, because they were doing the mixed tag stuff at that time, and I remember them tagging them up. I don't remember exactly. I just know that when you look at these cards.
I was there when Baron Corbin won his too.
Oh,
Everybody was pissed.
Yeah, I remember that. He needs something like that again. But I like seeing his work in NXT right now.
He's killing it in NXT.
Yeah.
Give my 60 seconds NXT. Good job, guys. Keep it up. You're doing just fantastic work. I love the, guys from main roster not being used that much. Send them down. Let them.
No, I think it's a great mix in, and especially because Baron is kind of lost right now. They need to redevelop his character a little bit, get him back on the same page. I just hate his attire. Like, there's somebody where I'm like,
not even like just wearing shorts out there now.
He's always kind of like, I thought he found something when he got away from the lone wolf and he got back to like the money, or, the happy Corbin. I thought he found something, and then again, now he's out there in freaking gym shorts, and I don't know, whatever. Yeah, man. I there's a lot of things going on. We could talk in every different angle. I mean, I think Money in the Bank is setting up to be great. Forbidden Door is setting up to be great. It's just two different flavors. Yeah. Which one do you like? Which one don't you? Is CM Punk touted for anything for Forbidden Door?
Not yet, because
I don't think he needs to be.
There was a whole rumor of him versus Kenta, but supposedly Punk doesn't want to work with Kenta. Who knows? And Kenta just trolls.
If this is all true, dude.
Kenta trolls on Twitter too, so it's awesome. After
does he?
Yeah. So who knows? There's also a rumor he might face Naito. Cool. I would love to see Naito face him.
I just don't see him fighting anybody on such short notice.
I could see them saving it.
He just needs to wait. Yeah, I agree. I don't think you need to push Punk.
1 week, unless something happens on this week that's like, because we still.
Well, you only got one Saturday before it, so it'd have to happen on the night before.
Let me check. What matches we have already? So we have Omega Ospreay, Danielson Okada, Sonata Jungle Boy, Tanahashi, MJF. That's it so far. There's only 4 and then that match they just announced, the one of Jericho
Right.
and his boys versus I forgot who they're facing.
Who, Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society?
Jericho, Guevara, and Murder Grandpa. I want to see, because it's the same. They tagged last year in the same group, so it's like,
yeah, I'm not sure. You know more about that world than I do, especially the Forbidden Door world.
it's
Because my thoughts on New Japan Pro Wrestling is the same as MJF. That's why I'm such a diehard MJF guy right now, dude.
It is so fun.
He just says the things that I just think all the time. I just love it.
Sorry, I'm just
you do your thing. Well, that's going on, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to come on live this Thursday.
Sorry, that match is actually set up for Dynamite, not even for Forbidden.
For Dynamite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're gonna see that this is gonna be a huge week. That probably all their shows, New Japan guys are gonna be coming in, and
we got a go home show Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for Forbidden Door.
Yep.
And then we are 1 week removed after that from Money in the Bank. Then Wembley will be in August.
That or later in July.
So AEW is actually going to have, so they'll have that. And then.
It is August.
I was going to say, because I thought August was the 2 big ones. Because you're going to have WWE in London the week. Well, that's in Money in the Bank because SummerSlam's in Detroit. We'll have to clean this up. We'll have to clean that up. Either way, though, this Thursday, 9:15 p.m., we're going to come live. We're going to have a special guest on the show. What's his name?
Hale Brown.
Hale Brown, hailing all the way from?
Abingdon, Illinois.
Oh, he's making a trip for this one.
Yeah.
One of Grant's buddies, diehard wrestling fan. We'll dive into some things. What is it you wanted to do specifically for that show?
Just kind of because we should have by Wednesday, or at least by Wednesday night, most of the
Forbidden Door card. We can do some predictions, and previews.
What's going on there, what we think, and maybe just chit chat. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll come up with a theme too.
Kind of grill Hale on his wrestling history, because like me, he likes AEW a lot, but he does enjoy.
Does he watch WWE at all?
Not as much anymore. Especially kind of when COVID hit, he just kind of stopped.
Just kind of stopped. So he's missed all of the Bloodline storyline.
He keeps up on like Twitter, I think.
Okay,
like he watches.
I think when you're a professional wrestling fan, you always kind of never truly away.
You still, I still check highlights for Impact. Like,
oh, dude, so
just because it's like
I gotta know.
Our boys from winning, holding all the titles.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. Ladies and gentlemen, hour 7 in, Thursday night, 9:15. 9:15, we're gonna do our Forbidden Door preview show, and then that way we can kind of break down that card. Yeah. We should, like you said, we should get a lot more than just the 4 or 5 matches that have been touted. Anything big that happens on Monday or Wednesday, we might hit on and touch upon. This is kind of what we want to do in the future anyways. We want to get a second show. It's just kind of hard right now with our schedules, but this is what you guys check out. Thursday, 9:15, Twitch. Be ready.
2 weeks, less than 2 weeks away from Fight Forever actually coming out.
Fight Forever. It might actually come out.
Who knows? The night before, Tony Khan might say, no, F it. We're done.
I hope he delays it 1 year.
No, I hope not, because I'm going to put my pre-order in probably tonight for the game, and I want to play it.
God, I hope that pre-order just 1 year. 1 year. Every year. New anniversary. It's going to come out next year.
They charge me every single year the same amount.
You got it.
I never got it. That's all right.
That would be the best storyline in wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, Grant to Mark Clark, Lulu, my little dog. She's been sleeping the whole time. Yep, she did move. She's over there. Let's see if we can get her. Oh, Lulu Love, we'll call her. Lulu Love. Lulu. Hey, baby. Anyways.
No, she's like, I'm tired.
She's like, I'm over them. They've been talking about wrestling for the last hour and 10 minutes. Anyways, I'm Johnny Bang Bang, a.k.a. Robert Gifford. He is Sonny Batunsky, a.k.a. Grant the Clark Mark, or Mark Clark. I always do that, dude.
All right.
We'll see you on down the road. Pick us up. If you're not going to follow us on Thursday at 9:15, make sure to pick us up next Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. here on Twitch. We'll talk to you later. Deuces. Down.